Hello and welcome back to my breakout session on fueling technology. So thank you for the 250 plus who've joined this session with me. On the slim chance it's just me and my family, hello darling, I'll be back on Friday. So my name is Gary Wayne. I may be connected with a lot of you on LinkedIn, hopefully, and more to come. So I've been with Parker for 10 years now, and after all these different roles, I'm really excited to be part of this hydrogen and clean tech growth for Parker Hannifin. The applications we see as we visit our customers are really diverse. So we have gensets replacing the diesel versions. We have fuel cells in VTOLs and drones, from carbon capture, utilization plants, to construction plant electrification, and also fuel cells, not forgetting green hydrogen in this new industrial revolution with electrolysis, as we've heard about earlier on. So the agenda today, hopefully you're going to get a good feel for what we do. We'll go through is system design and component selection, and then choosing the right partner. And hopefully that's the path we'll take. So hopefully this is just a taster and further engagement with Parker as we go through the weeks and months to come. So system design, very, very important that the correct designs are going to lead to a number of things: a smaller number of parts used, which everybody really needs; using the standard part selection to have shorter supply chains, which is key to meeting the lead time of your client; and faster assembly for a leak-free system; and lower overall cost to your client. And finally, and not forgetting, that simpler maintenance in the field, because these systems have to be maintained by somebody in the future, and they won't have access to a nice heated factory. So one of the things we've done at Parker is develop a visual selector, visualizer, and this will be our new cool interactive tool available in May, hopefully. So we can discuss our product offering in detail with our customers, showing the entire Parker Clean Tech products in one application. And it's ideally, obviously, our customers would like one pipe connection to the hydrogen source, all the way through to the end use without any connections, preferably welded. Clearly, that's not practical. So there has to be some pressure regulation, some check valves, some pressure relief valves. All these things have to be in place. Now, the good news is that with Parker Solutions, our customers can actually achieve this using our leak-free technologies. So let's look at system design. In terms of people in your organization, we all know that the importance of the purchasing guys. And I want to give a huge support for the system designers, as these guys are really the secret to having a simplified, leak-free as possible solution that can be maintained in the field, either with customer staff or with contract engineers. As we said, making a simple system is the key to success. So as listed on the screen there, free tube lengths and bend radius tables are out there, ready for anybody to read, and hopefully your system designers are well averse to these. But these need to be considered, making a design with a certain sensitivity that needs to be employed for the people who are going to actually build and maintain these systems. Because as we know, having fewer connections and valves with integral connections, which we'll look at later, will lead to less leaks in the system. So one item which has been successful with is manifolds. It sounds a bit dry, I suppose, but manifolds really are a key to losing a lot of the connections you may have. So if you want to talk to us about manifolds, then please, we'll talk to you about later how you can contact Parker. But they can reduce the number of connections and complexity in a system greatly. So component selection, as always, it's going to be the final responsibility is going to be with the customer. So we can't influence that. But what we can influence, we can advise you on our certified hydrogen products that are suitable for hydrogen service. So we'll just go on to have a look at a few of the components that we supply. And these, what I'm going to show you next, are standard components, nothing complex, tested and ready for use. So you'll see on the screen there on the left-hand side, you'll see the needle valve and the Hypro ball valve. Now I've selected these two components because these have been tested to fugitive emission standard ISO 15848. Try remembering that. So it's now class C, but the Hypro ball valve actually achieved class B. So the actual tightness of that ball valve and leak freeness was even better than the class C, if that's a word. So we have integrated options, as you can see on the screen. So these particular valves have an A-lock connection, which is made in the UK. Big cheers, yes. So you don't need any adapters or MPT or PTFE tape. So we must try and avoid PTFE tape in hydrogen because of the leak capabilities using MPT connections. So the next thing to think about is the pressure and temperature of the environment that you need. These things need to be considered in the environment, and whether the actual product or the pipeline or the system is going to see gas or even maybe liquid hydrogen in some cases. So our autoclave engineers brand is for high pressure up to 1,000 bar, 1,034. And we have the needle valve and the check valve, as you can see on the screen with the A-lock there. And that's met the ISO 19880-3 standard for refueling stations, which is really rigorous in its testing. And we can supply one of the sort of front pages from that certificate if you need more information. So looking at the right-hand side, we're talking about material selection. Now, this is important in that you'll see, we'll talk about later in our panel discussion, the selection of materials and full traceability is key to everything. Just give me a second. That was just to show you it's live. So Parker has the mill certification for the raw material, which is your 3.1 cert. And we've carried out Sharpie impact testing on our stainless steels just to prove they can go down to the liquid hydrogen temperatures, which is at -253 for the people in the know, centigrade. And this data is really so important as we develop the LH2 liquid hydrogen products and develop our understanding about the sealing techniques needed at these low cryogenic temperatures. So just a little taster again of our solenoid valve technology from our climate control division. We've got solenoid valves that go up to 700 bar, and also the explosion proof, the ATEX, as we were alluding to earlier. It's going to be very important in these particular zones inside an electrolyzer container. As with all the products we're showing today, you can get more details and deeper dives into the product by talking to a product manager. And you can do this by talking to anybody at Parker, or you can contact me after the event. And we'll hook you up with the relevant product manager, and you can go into it in great detail. So the next thing we talk about is hydrogen hoses. Now, what we did here, we've got this thing called new product blueprinting, which is like voice of customer on steroids for Parker. All our guys have been trained in this, not all of our guys, sorry. Majority of our guys have been trained in new product blueprinting. And it's really to gain an insight and understand the pain points of our customers so that we can develop new products with the right features and benefits that's included for our engineering design. So it's an upfront voice of customer activity that's going to bring the benefits of the customer's information. So this is what the hose customers blueprinting came out with. So we've got it listed in high and low importance by the customer. And as always, we've been going on about this ever since we started this, is safety. Safety, safety, safety. It's paramount for Parker and it's paramount for hydrogen. And product reliability is up there as well, obviously. As nobody wants a product that's going to fail. So that's where the certification comes in, either ISO, HGV standards. We'll talk more about standards later on in the breakout, not breakout sessions, in the panel review. So life cycle as well, the number of filling cycles this thing takes on, and also flexibility, kink resistance, and minimum bend radius come a bit further down, but no less important. So there we see a hose in place on a stationary station and a mobile station. So this is the hose that we've got there. And the customers, whether that's you and me with our hydrogen cars in the future maybe, you need the same experience at the pump as you do with traditional fossil fuels. You want to let it feel the same with the same nozzle, similar fueling technology, and also the time. We don't want to be standing there for half an hour to fill up your car. So this is what was coming out of the blueprinting, and this is what our hose develops. Develops. So the next one, we looked at the ISO standard. So it's 19880-5 rather than -3 that we talked about earlier. So as you can see, you've got the impulse cycles on there and the down to -40. And it's a really rigorous testing program. And you can see the little test rig on the right-hand side there. And our hose passed with flying colours. And each hose is 100% tested to make sure that your safety is paramount. So I was amazed to see the leak rates when I talked to the product manager before this presentation. And it's 277 times lower than the upper limit in the standard. And that is absolutely fantastic. And of course, this transposes to about 1 year life at an average station. And I think that probably goes beyond the normal fossil fuel hose as well. So in terms of the performance, we've looked at the safety again, no leakage, minimum 3 times longer life compared to others on the market. So if you're looking for a hydrogen hose that doesn't leak and lasts a long time, Parker is the one. So what's it going to give the customer? It's a reliable product with no gas leakages. And don't forget, leakage not only comes from the connection, but it comes from the hose as well and the polymer. So what we don't want is permeation through the actual polymer out the hose into the atmosphere. And we've tested that as well. And then not forgetting my favorite, longer lifetime costs and longer maintenance intervals. So back to the favorite subject, which is choosing the right partner. And hopefully by now, you've realized which partner you should be choosing. And just to let you know, it's Parker, by the way. So this is a real strategic move with our customers, and they recognize that this is key throughout their business as they grow in stature and products and portfolio, and also spread across the globe. Because these things, as we talked about earlier, are maybe Marco is starting in Finland, and then we're spreading out globally with the offering. And we can grow and spread with you. So we are looking at working with you from a prototyping stage. So as you start to grow and develop your business, engineering, support, into serial production. And we're your go-to partner for all things clean tech and hydrogen as your one-stop partner. And hopefully by now you'll have realized many, many products that support that. So we've got experience in hydrogen. You've seen the Apollo video earlier on. It goes a long way back, decades. We've got a global footprint with all our partners across the world. And we're also going to be your partners for parts supply with our distribution. And it goes without saying, we've got the technical support to match what we're saying. So you can see the standards at the bottom, EC79. We'll have a chat about that in the session later. The R110 with CNG and LNG, that's a well-versed standard. We've got a lot of products to that, as well as our factories being ATIF approved. IATF. So you've got the ISO standard, the 19880-1, and the -3 and the -5, but also the ISO 15848-1, which is the low emissions fugitive emissions standard. All these things are high cost, but they're really, really important to get through if you're going to deliver a safe product. So the good news is that with IPDE, Instrumentation Products Division Europe, 85% of the current products are hydrogen service suitable, which is fantastic. So how do you keep informed? So we have lots and lots of Parker resources. Luckily, they're all in one place. So you can go to parker.com, www.parker.com, and you'll see dedicated hydrogen pages under sustainability. And that's got all the publications you see on the bottom there, from catalogues through to the embrittlement catalogue there. Embrittlement white paper, rather. So one of the things we really want to talk about is training. So you say a fitting is a fitting. However, it needs to be put in together correctly and in the correct sequence. Otherwise, leaks are going to occur. So we offer this thing called SBEX training, which is small bore expert training. And we have a lot of people in our organization who are SBEX trainers, and they can also perform train the trainer sessions at your factory. Or if you want to come to Barnstaple in the southwest of England, you can carry out the training there as well. So what we found with our discussing with customers when we've been training staff on fittings technology is that they need to be refreshed on a regular basis, because people move on, change roles. You might have a new partner or subcontractor that's also handling Parker product. So what you need to be doing is retraining these people time and time again and keep refreshing it, and Parker can help with that. So we have a materials expert. I talked about embrittlement earlier on. It's a big subject. So we have a materials expert on hand in a part of our team, Clara. She's well known for her knowledge on embrittlement and just general materials knowledge. So if you want to watch her webinars, and you can find the details on the Parker website, there's quite a lot of stuff to go at. And you can see on the front page of the screen there. So most importantly, please connect with me on LinkedIn if you're not already connected. Just a quick plug there. And I'll promise I'll remember your birthday. That's a fact. And even if you move jobs, I'll give you a shout as well. So you can follow Parker and keep up to date on our clean tech pages. And we want to be part of your journey. So once again, our website is full of information. So if you just go to parker.com, you'll find everything, and we'll share your journey with you. So here are my contact details, mobile number, email address, and parker.com as well. And I'm hoping that we will be connected and come into connection in the few days to come. So as you can see, we are in our element. So what's next? Thomas will now assist me in checking the chat box, and hopefully there's lots and lots of questions. Even if I can't answer them, I know a man who can. So Thomas, let's go.
Great, Gary. Thank you for a good presentation.
Anytime.
A lot of tongue twisters with ISO certifications.
Absolute.
Yeah. So as people are trying to put in questions now on the chat, I have one prepared for you as well. So there are so many connector options basically in the market. So how do I actually know that I'm choosing the right one for my application?
Yeah, good question. As we've added different technologies to our portfolio, what we've developed is a Ready Reckoner visual selector for each type of connection. So it doesn't matter what your pressures are, what your temperatures are, what your application is, there will be a connection for you that matches what you need in terms of putting things together, whether that's assemble by torque or twin ferrule. We've got it all laid down in this selector, and come and talk to us and we'll show you and we'll work your way through that.
Great.
No problem.
I have a second one here. So you mentioned earlier liquid hydrogen.
Yes.
What areas of the hydrogen economy will be using LH2 as a fuel source, do you think?
Thank you. Yeah. We've seen LH2 predominantly in the automotive sector. So for getting trucks, heavy-duty trucks, to be 1,000 kilometer in range, you've got to move from battery electric, fuel cell, into either IC engine, but it's definitely going to be liquid that gives you that range because of the density of liquid hydrogen. So we've seen that there in trucking. We've also seen it in ground-based refueling for aircraft. So refueling stations for aircraft that are going to be using liquid hydrogen.
Yep.
Yeah. And laboratory. Universities are also dabbling in liquid hydrogen.
Yep. Thank you. So, and also, I think the final question here. So you mentioned a little bit about the SBEX, is that correct? The training?
SBEX, yes.
Yeah. How can I find more of that, more information about it?
Well, I suppose the easiest way is go on to parker.com or type in Parker SBEX training, or you can talk to me and we'll put you in touch with the schedule from our people in Barnstaple, and you'll see when the next SBEX session is. Or even better, we can come to your factory or premises and do the SBEX training there. So we're ready to go now that our COVID is loosening up a bit. We're able to travel again, and we can come and do that SBEX training with you.
Great. It seems like you, with your presentation, you straighten out all the question marks. So I actually don't have any more questions for you.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
But it's just a start, this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a start. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Thomas.